if you're working in a production environment, you obviously want to have a high availability. You want to have two firewalls and enable HA, and if one goes down, the other one will take over, or even more than two firewalls. That's totally up to you. But for this particular lab, we only have one virtual firewall, so we don't really have any HA. But if you want to enable HA, you could just simply click on this and enable HA, allocate a group ID to those parties, and specify the IP addresses for those parties. Then your HA, you can set up your HA like that. The other thing that is probably useful to know is the config audit. So when we are changing things on Palo Alto Firewall, you could compare the config with previous config, or compare your running config with the safe config and things like that, and find out the differences. So that's a handy thing. So I will show you later on. Password profiles, you could specify password profiles. So we're just gonna set up password profile card, my password profile. So we just want to say every 120 days, for example, passwords must be changed. 20 days before expiration, just want to do a warning, and probably pre-login count post expiration. So that's the password profile that you could set up, and you could use that password profile with individual accounts that you're creating on the system, and make sure those accounts will follow the password policy that you've specified. The administrator, you could change the admin password or account passwords here, or roles and things like that, or you could add a new one. If you have an authentication profile, you could use your authentication profile for that. Only radius authentication profile and local authentication profile is supported with administrator account. And you could basically specify the different rules and stuff in there as well. You can see the password profile that I created. You could use it there. Rules, again, there are a whole bunch of rules. There are some, obviously, default rules created by the system, but you could just create your own rule. You can see there are a whole bunch of different access to the system that you could specify. You could say, I want a user to have access only to dashboard and nothing else. If you're working with an application, or you have an application which is working through API with your firewall, you could change the API settings as well if you want to. And through command line, obviously, you could specify what kind of command line access you want to provide to that specific rule, and then assign that rule to the user. So that's another thing that you could do. So the other important thing is licensing and support and things like that in there. So you could obviously, if you have a license, as I said, you could get trial licenses from Palo Alto. You could just contact them and get some free trial licenses. So you could just import your licenses here if you want to. So that's another thing. And Support, obviously, if you want to generate a text support file, sometimes when you want to get support about the firewall, you need to prepare some information, send it to them. Software that it will give you if the firewall is connected to the internet. Mine is not at the moment. If your firewall is connected to the internet, you can see there are a whole bunch of updates showing up here, so you could download the updates and install it on your firewall, basically update your firewall if you want to. Log settings, you could specify what kind of logs you want to send out and how. So we will be talking about this a bit more detail when we talk about the logs and loggings, but basically you need to create a syslog profile first, and once you created the syslog profile, you could specify the log. On the log setting, you could specify how to work with the syslog profile and what kind of logs to be sent to the syslog profile. The other thing that you have is response pages. So you could customize all these pages. So by default, Palo Alto has some default response pages. If there is a virus detected or anything like that, it will bring up some specific HTML pages for the user. You could change that. You could export these and go and do your customization and import it again, and things like that if you want to. So these are some generic information, as I said. Any time that you do some changes, I've done the DNS change and stuff. Any time you do a change, you need to click on commit, and if you want, you could just preview the changes, how many lines you want to show up. You can see these changes will be applied to the firewall, and you could validate the change, so it's going to tell you whether the changes are valid or there's any problem. And you can commit the changes, so it will be applied after you commit the changes to the firewall. So these are basically some introduction about initial system configuration of the Palo Alto firewall. We will be talking obviously in more details and practically on how to set up different bits and pieces on the firewall on the next video. So I'll see you on the next video with more details, and we will start setting up the system. Thanks for watching this video.